jumping right to it, our topic for the day is...
So here's Nix with the discussion topic. Nix?
This is not a news reporter.
Bruh.
Okay.
I'm
Already
sorry.
30 seconds.
Okay. I'm like, topic of the day. Today, we're talking about if developers should include branching paths in video games with definitive endings. So, Doga here and Pepto.
My god, we need a format.
I know.
Okay, so I guess first we should get our groundwork, lay the groundwork. Who's on what side?
Well, I guess I'm starting because I did the question. For me, I think if you're gonna give a false choice or an option for false choice on a game, I think that's not worth. I think you should make a linear game if you're only gonna have one ending.
Okay, so you're saying games with a definitive endings shouldn't even give you the choice to try and alter it if it's definitive from the get-go.
Exactly.
Pepto?
I feel like if developers are making narrative-based video games with branching pathways, but are also making definitive endings to those games that tie the whole plot of everything that was happening in that game up in the end of the day, that it kind of defeats the purpose to have those branching pathways in the first place, because there's just this narrative that they wanted you to follow in the end of the day.
That's true.
I think I agree with Pepto there, and you, Nix, as well. It makes no sense to me if you're gonna advertise this game with branching pathways only to retcon or erase the whole journey for a definitive ending that was already charted from the start.
I like what you said there when you're like wrecking the entire story. I feel like you lose your connection with the game and this experience you had with the game if the choices you make or made throughout the game didn't even matter. I feel like it doesn't add up from my point of view.
The only example that comes to mind right now is Shadow the Hedgehog. That game was kind of a mess.
I don't even know how many. I don't think I've seen all the endings of that game.
That game had way too many endings.
So that game had 10 useless endings, all with dumb narratives that led to absolutely nothing and answered no question, and then decided to retcon that entire idea and that entire. And again, that was the thing that made that game honestly unique and interesting, because up to that point, the adventure games and Heroes, they had the different like players or characters that you could play as. Like Adventure had play as all the six characters, and I mean that's honestly something that the 3D Sonic games have been doing for a while. But like it reached its peak in Shadow the Hedgehog when they gave you 10 endings, all with like these dumb things where Eggman's betraying this person or betraying that person and doesn't know who he is and thinks he knows what he is and all this stuff, and then they finally wrapped it all up in the last story section where Eggman 10 minutes into the final boss tells you that you're the real Shadow, and that answers all the questions, and that was the definitive ending of that game. Yeah, that was just a terrible example of a game that had branching pathways that in the end of the day didn't matter, wasted everyone's time, wasted the players' times, and then even the definitive ending was like still disappointing. Whereas like a game like the Stanley Parable, for instance, where it's very interesting in the way that it uses its branching pathways for its endings, in that each and every single playthrough, even though it seems similar to the last one, usually has something different in terms of a pathway that you're going down, or a corridor or a hallway that leads to something completely different from the last playthrough that you did. It could be all simple as just a button press that changes the ending this time around and stuff. So I mean,
should we elaborate on the games that we're kind of going through? We're kind of going a little fast here.
Sure. What do you mean by elaborate?
A short summary, for those who don't know, Shadow the Hedgehog was a game released a while back ago. The whole concept, how it was advertised, was that you were supposed to find the mystery of who Shadow is and what he's supposed to do, and they gave you an alternate branching storyline to follow where you can either become a good, neutral, or indifferent person to the cast of the Sonic team, only to have once and for all definitive ending in the end that pretty much makes any choice up to then kind of pointless. So that's kind of a prime example of what we're talking here. The other game that was mentioned, the Stanley Parable, is another choice-driven game that is kind of a satire joke of the choice-driven narrative genre, where the choices actually do range from they do absolutely nothing to incorporate the game to they actually change the whole fundamental on how the game's even perceived.
Can you give me like an example to make it more clear? That way Those that haven't played the game would understand.
Which game?
No, I mean in general, like a solid example.
An example of a narrative game?
Yeah.
Basically, the games we're talking are games with a heavy story focus, whether it's text-based or action-based. The actual game, moment-to-moment gameplay shouldn't matter too much, but the goal, basically you're given a goal and you're given the opportunity, do I want to accomplish this, or do I want to take it into my own hands, or do I want to leave it alone?
So the replay value of these type of games is not the journey, it's the destination.
Yes, it's more about the journey rather than finishing the game and seeing the ending. It's about the character you're building up between.
I'm confused. I said the opposite. I said, is it about the journey or the destination?
The journey.
So it's the journey. Even though you have multiple endings, you're not looking for the best ending, or you're looking for the journey that matches you.
Well, you said a pretty good keyword there, the best ending. The best ending is very subjective per game. So if I want to throw in Detroit Become Human as the third game, there is a best ending that you would strive to get, but you may not reach it due to the actions you take, whether it's unintentional or say accidentally tripping at a vital moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So should I as a player feel bad for getting an ending that was worse than what's perceived to be the best ending, which for all I could be, for all intents and purposes, could be like an ending that's like terrible where everyone dies, but it's considered like true or the best ending.
See,
but like I didn't get that one.
See, that's the
so
problem.
Should I feel bad now that I don't get that? And even though like the one that I got is something that like I feel like I strive towards and I put the effort in.
See, that's the problem I have when playing these type of games. A lot of times, because I'm not so if I play a game, I play it once or twice. I'm not too focused on playing as many times as I can. When I play a game, I play it once, and then I feel bad that whatever ending I got wasn't the true ending, wasn't the ending that everybody likes the most, wasn't. So I feel lost when it comes to, I don't feel involved in the community of that game. Even if I really like the game and I'm part of the community, I don't feel involved because I wasn't able, or at least my first time playing the game, I didn't get the true ending.
Before I add to that, because that is actually a good point that I want to mention, Pepto, have you played Undertale, or have you gone through Undertale?
Yes, I have.
I know that's a very popular game that people tend to go through multiple times for that very reason, on achieving the best ending possible, or just out of curiosity to see the rest of the games, which is kind of what I wanted to mention there. For certain games, the game itself lends itself to invite people to replay it back, whereas something like Detroit Become Human is a little bit lengthier in terms of gameplay hours, so you may not want to go back to play it for that one difference to achieve the best ending because of how long the game is, whereas something like Stanley Parable, you can take a good 10 minutes to check out what the other ending had.
Then I have a follow-up question. My question is it better to have a game that is shorter with multiple endings, or a game that is longer with one ending?
With one ending.
Yes.
Well, I want to get back to the previous thing because I didn't finish what I was saying, but it kind of leads into this, where you were saying you don't feel involved with the community because you only played the one side. I kind of see it as a badge of honor that you've only played it your way and experienced it that way, because I remember talking amongst a couple of friends about Heavy Rain, right? This friend was telling me about the ending he got, and I couldn't really, I didn't achieve the ending because I only played the game once, and all I remember from my playthrough is that I forgot the guy's name, the cop guy that I want to call Connor because I've been playing too much Detroit. With the FBI dude, near the end of the game, I tripped and fell into the sawmill, and that was the end of that character, and that was the character that I was most connected with, and that pretty much became my story for that game, my experience, that hey, the girl ended up this way, the guy ended up getting away, and the character I liked most fell into a sawmill because I missed a button prompt. So
that's not right.
I can go back and fix that, but I think it's much more colorful to come with it now and say, hey, that's my story.
Yeah.
So to go back to the length of the games, I guess like I don't have a choice on whether or not I want it short, but I do know that the definitive ending for a game with branching paths, for me, that's not enjoyable. So I think I would, in both cases, I would rather branching paths with their own separate ending. But I understand that usually games with more distinct branching paths are shorter because the developers have to spend time with each path, each dialogue tree, each circumstance. And I think, what was it? What's that game with the girl and the tornado and
Life is Strange?
Life is Strange. I remember one instance, I think, where like if you let the girl suicide, then that's it for her. And I think like a bunch of other things like changed because she's missing. But like I don't know if I'll even say that's a good one because at the end of the day, the tornado still slaps you. So yeah.
Pepto, what are your last comments on this topic?
I thought it was interesting when Dolga brought up Undertale just recently as an example pertaining to this discussion that we're having and its way of incorporating branching paths and different story elements and just the way that the characters interact with each other through each playthrough. And it was the fact that I guess Toby Fox, the creator, like he took the effort and time to distinctively like make it so that each character would interact with the main person that you're playing as in a unique and interesting way, and it would like completely change the way that you perceive the world that you were in now. So like if you're going through the neutral path, like it didn't really matter if you treated like this person badly or if you treated this person nicely and stuff like that. Like it was all just up to preference. So most people might look at like Sans and what's Sans' brother's name? Papyrus. Papyrus.
How do I know?
Look at
I never played the game.
Look at Sans and Papyrus as like jokey, like funny characters and stuff like that. But then see
Wait, so
like the fish lady with the body of armor.
Undyne?
Yeah, Undyne. They might not necessarily gravitate to her character so quickly.
Again, I've never played the game.
So you're saying that you prefer when games let you...
If they're gonna do the branching pathways in them, even if they do like come up with definitive endings, because in Undertale technically you can like count like the true like pacifist ending or whatever, or like the full-on genocide ending as like the best endings of the games and stuff. They still try and build like a full world around them, and
also each character is important.
So you're saying like one ending isn't half-assed.
Exactly. So it doesn't just feel like once I press like this button here, the whole world just blows up kind of thing, and like that's my ending and stuff like that. The character that I saw in the neutral path who was pretty chill and didn't really say much, and we didn't really have a lot of interaction. Like in the genocide route, they're trying to like actually kill me, or like they're trying to like protect others from me and stuff like that, which is what made those different playthroughs and stuff in Undertale fascinating.
What I really hate? Sorry. Are you finished?
No, that was it. Yeah, that was my point.
Yeah.
Well, what I really hate when developers do, when they give you the choice that ends the game directly, like right there. Like I know The Matrix does that, where it's like, do you take the red pill or the blue pill? And if you take like the blue pill, the game just ends. And you're like, bro. What?
And then it goes back to and it just plays the credits, goes back to the title.
Oh my god.
See, a game that does that actually, a game that I actually like is Katana Zero. They do that. They give you an option.
Oh shit, Katana Zero.
Oh yeah, the ending, yeah.
To either die or continue, right?
Yeah.
So if you die, that's it. You restart the game or whatever to get the other ending.
Yeah.
I didn't even like it in Katana. As good as Katana Zero was,
I didn't like that either.
I hated that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I actually purged that from my mind.
My
I
bad.
thought it was pretty funny, but that's the thing. Like it kind of like just undermines like all the stuff that you were like toiling with and going through the game in the first place. Because now like it just like pretty much deads all of that for like a quick joke and like yeah.
But yeah, like it completely just makes it feel that one side is 100% better than the other.
I was thinking that this is a good place to end it.
Sure. Yeah. Any last thoughts, feelings?
I think we ended well with bringing
Katana Zero's choice.
Yeah, the illusion of choice there to tie it all together.
Well, yeah, I guess so. That's true.
See, so I guess at the end of the day, the message is if you're gonna do branching paths, flesh it out, make a world, make your game your own. Don't half-ass it. Don't.
Yep.
You will never, like, I don't know, at least with us, you will never score points.
Yep. Alright, that's it for us. Let us know in the comments what you think, what your opinion is, and we'll talk about another question, another topic next time.
Does anybody actually like that, where the game like just ends?
Imagine. Oh my goodness, this was so fun.
Yo, if you're one of those guys, like, yo, let me know why you would like that. Like,
well, next out.
bruh.
And that's it.
And I guess Doug out too. Wait, I thought it was arcade. Okay, whatever, we're out.